Please see DGM_insights on YouTube. Swingers Guides Sex for Men.
Okay, so this is not meant to be graphic, but I want to say two things to men. One, charming gets you a long way when it comes to sex, when it comes to the swinging lifestyle and consensual non-monogamy. It takes practice to be charming. It takes practice not to rush things. It takes practice to rein in your expectations. It takes practice to be willing to walk away, which a lot of swingers do. They walk away if they are not comfortable with things. So this advice is to also understand that, one, charming takes practice. Two, it's all about blood pressure. Okay, so nobody wants to have sex with somebody who's over intoxicated or on drugs. And with men, a lot of what you do, and women too, and that's harder to explain, but with men, it's blood pressure. Now, and this is very blunt, I'm sorry to be blunt, but men don't know that they can, a lot of men don't know that they can come more than once. They can have an orgasm more than once. And so they'll do one, they get the fatigue that men get, and women might not know they get fatigue, but they get fatigue, and then they don't come up for the second try. 2 and 3 and 4 different sexual occasions are not only possible, but talking to you personally, the orgasms for men get better every time. So men have the things that cause them orgasm on the outside. They also have a nerve cluster in their anus for orgasms anally. They can have them. And that's, a lot of men don't really realize that, at least not the ones I've talked to. They don't understand that that's also possible. So multiples are, and now there's usually, they call it the 20-minute pause. Men will usually wait 20 minutes, but you don't have to. If you can just get excited and keep your blood pressure up. Now some men, swinging men, use caffeine. They'll have a little alcohol and caffeine, and alcohol in abundance can be your enemy. So this is where you would watch drinking and drug use. Now in the swinging lifestyle, drug use is pretty rare. They'll say it outwards on their profile that you want to do 420, which is pot, marijuana, or they want to do other things, and make sure that that's been agreed to in advance, because there are swingers that will get up and walk away from a swinging event because pot is brought out, because they're tested at work, believe it or not, in this day and age, and they don't want to risk their jobs, so they walk away from the situation, and there's not really any sexual way to come back from that. So be careful about that. So that's my advice to guys is learn to come, have an orgasm, ejaculate more than once. I mean, you can do that at home with your wife or home with your partner. Just get up and do it again. See where it goes, see if you can do it. Okay, thank you. Okay, so swinging is an open sexuality. Consensual non-monogamy is a genie out of the bottle. And so once you stop that monogamy, it's hard to put it back in the bottle. It's hard to say, okay, we're going to stop doing that. Now, if you follow the advice by a lot of swingers that you have a contract, then there needs to be an exit plan. But with men, it's hard to say, okay, I'm done. And you have to look at where that applies in your life. What group does that apply in your life? And I mean, if you want to be non-monogamous and your wife starts changing her views, you have two choices. One, maybe you don't want to stay in that marriage, sadly. Two, you can go back to monogamy. And then there's going to be trust issues. There can be other things where you might have a problem with that in your relationship, because will she trust that you're no longer non-monogamous, that you turn to monogamy? So I was in a monogamous relationship for a long period. I had no trouble with that. Well, I'm in a non-monogamous relationship right now, a swinging relationship, and I had it with my first wife. It had nothing to do with my divorce. I had one, and it had nothing to do with that. So you have to think about it as a genie out of the bottle. You may not want to let that genie out of the bottle. Now she may. In my first marriage, she wanted to swing, and I didn't. I had to learn to grow into it. But you need to really understand that it's a genie that you may not want to escape. You got to really think hard, not with your sexual organs, but you need to think with your brain. Is this really the step I want to take? And then talk to her about that too. You need to find out about her steps. You need to find out about why she would want to stop. And you want to find out why she would want to. And sexual excitement's one of them. Adding spice to your marriage is another. It adds huge amounts of communication. So there are positives, but the negative is jealousy. The negative is suspicion. The negative is double checking your partner. Some do, some don't. And you need to have that on the table. But you need to really think about whether you want to let this genie escape, like the genie out of the, So it has lots of rewards, but maybe you want to put the genie back in the bottle, or keep it there. So anyway. Okay, so this one is practice makes perfect. And I'm going to admit to doing something last night. I went to... my wife had some medical things and couldn't go out. And so I went out to a karaoke. And the particular bar I went to is in a motel. And it was mostly blacks. When I've been there before, it was like some whites and blacks, and nobody cared. The bar had a lot of mature people in it the first time. The second time, still a lot of great couples. They were all black. I was the one of two white people, 3 white people. But just wonderful people. So I cannot sing. I am not a good singer. I love to sing, but just not the best. Especially, I can harmonize if somebody else is singing, but to sing for myself is just like traumatic. So I wanted to fight my fears and make sure that I wasn't afraid of it. So I put in Otis Redding's Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. And it took forever. It's like I remember a quote about Justin Timberlake when he did the song in front of President Obama at the White House. A great honor for him. But I remember a quote that some people were sensitive about Otis Redding's songs, about them being well. So I had a little bit of nervousness when I'm sitting there. So I get up and I'm starting to sing, and everybody joined in. It's like 200 couples. It was just absolutely wonderful. Now it's a straight bar. It's not a swing bar, but absolutely wonderful. And then there's an end part where in the karaoke you're supposed to whistle. I couldn't whistle for the life of me. Now, I'm totally sober. I wasn't drinking, and so it was totally sober, and I'm trying to, and so this other guy, he grabs the mic and he starts whistling the end of the song, and I patted him on the back. I said, thank you. It was a great experience, but it's an experience that says, like, you get past the nerves and practice makes perfect. Keep doing it for a while. Now, the first 4 swing events I had, the first 3 were really bad for me. I didn't like them at all. I didn't like swinging. The 4th was a remarkable woman. She was a piano player at her Baptist church, and she's calling it. I did a horrible job the first Saturday night. I did a horrible job, and she was very sweet, and we talked, and it was great. And then she was calling somebody really early on Sunday morning, saying, "I can't make it. I'm sick. I'm not going to come and play the piano, the organ, or piano. I think it was a piano for the church." Oh man, that was just great. So by the 4th swing, I had a good swing. She was a wonderful woman. But the idea is that don't take the first couple of events is how it really works. Get into the finer points of it, and you'll have a lot better time. But practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. And you got a wife to practice on. Okay, thank you.